Hi, my name is Hawk, and I'm with Fanatics and the Fan.
Joey Mills with the Pop Goes Culture podcast.
And we would like to send out a special thanks to all those that are first responders, volunteer firefighters, policemen, ambulance drivers, coast guards, and anyone else that gets up every day just to save our lives.
Man, if it was an easy job, everybody would do it. A lot of times it's a thankless job. And yet we do need to pause and thank those who risk their wealth, their health, their well-being to make the world a better place and a safer place for each and every one of us.
So on behalf of Pop Goes the Culture and Fanatics and the Fan, we want to say thank you.
Thank you.
That's right, folks. It's another great Fanatics and the Fan, and we've got a special one for you today. It is Wrestlemania weekend, so I've brought in some homies, and we are going to talk about it. Please welcome to the show from Pop Goes the Culture, Mr. Joey Mills.
Hey, what's going on?
And from League of Lions, not mistaken, he's had a championship belt around his waist at least once. Mr. Tiger T. You gotta unmute yourself, brother.
Yeah, hey, how's it going? Tiger T in the house.
We are gonna talk some nerd. We're gonna talk some wrestling, and we are gonna. You guys can stay unmuted now. I just need to get through that intro. We are gonna get right into it. Maybe not. I heard feedback. So let's just, you know what? Let's just get into it. I'm not even going to mess around with all this stuff. So let's just get into our show and have some fun because, Joey, as you know, our news is always a little crazy.
Right.
So from Hollywood Reporter, actually, the guy that wrote Red Notice, which is a movie that we all think sucks, he wants to do a live Voltron. He wants to do a live Voltron.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be hard.
When you say live action,
it's going to be a
Voltron movie.
Yeah, though.
I mean, if you look at hold on, if you look at Halo,
right.
Halo proves that it's possible to mesh both.
I haven't seen it, so
Halo will have you scratching your head the entire time going, is that CGI? It looks, so we know the technology is there. But they also in my mind, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in my mind, there are no current actors that are well-known, big names other than Tom Holland to step up and do that.
Yeah, it depends on what they're going for. Look, he's shopping it around. Good luck to the guy. I don't see anybody beating down the doors in Hollywood begging somebody to write a live action Voltron movie. I could be wrong. Maybe those conversations are happening, but I don't know. I don't know about this one.
I don't think it has that big of a following right now. It's the real big thing, especially with everybody looking at doing all these remakes. That's why Amazon just bought MGM so they can remake that whole catalog of movies. Like, it's going to be hard having somebody that can actually do a script for a live action Voltron justice.
I mean, and that's the big thing in our world is you got to do it justice because so much has come out just been like. You guys remember that Power Rangers remake?
Yes, the one that was on YouTube. Yeah.
That remake that was that I mean, they made an actual motion picture, put a lot of money in it. And I swear to God, I was like,
yeah,
this is what y'all gave us. But
well, Hawk, you know, because you've been on movie sets, you've been on sets. They employed a lot of people.
Yeah,
so good on them for making sure people got their house payments paid and rent paid and groceries.
But
let
me guys
as far
ask
as
you this.
The movie, no.
Remember back when all of this first started, we started getting all these movies, and a lot of times when we came into a point of who was going to play who and who's going to play what, we had to go to wrestlers just to get the body types.
Right.
So give me one wrestler that could put on a Voltron suit and step on the set.
Oh,
You're talking a man in a suit? You don't think it's going to be CGI?
No. I meant just for the pilot, for one of the pilots. There's 5 pilots.
Oh, okay.
One of them's got to be female.
Right.
And here was one of my thoughts. It was one of my thoughts, and the only reason why I know it's wrong is I just think it's funny. But for the princess, Charlotte Flair. Wait, I gotta switch for a second because the look on their faces.
I was thinking more along the lines of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks did not do a terrible job in The Mandalorian when she's been in it. She's got some acting experience. You could easily go that direction.
Dude, that wouldn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
Sasha
I think she's looking more for Sailor Moon, though.
Yeah, she is. But Camilla could be the princess too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when she's all right.
It wouldn't be horrible.
No.
Yeah, if you're just looking at body type and not acting ability, then yeah. Because as far as acting ability,
Here's an off the wall one, just to be off the wall. For Hunk, who has always been big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, completely honest. If you look at Hunk, I've always pictured like The Rock or something. But just to throw a curveball, because he'd have to have acting skills, and Hunk actually is a full-arm mechanic, so he keeps everything running. How funny would it be for it to be Drew McIntyre? Same look.
I can see it. I can see it.
He's got to have some of the upper body become a little bit lower body if he's going to play Hunk.
Yeah.
If he could, put on a few pounds.
Just to make sure that the sizes aren't too off, Cesaro.
Otis. For Hunk.
Otis. Or, I don't know, maybe Big E can pull it off.
There you go.
Maybe Big E can pull it off.
So from, this is a big one. From GinkTyrant.com, Marvel is going forward with the Nova project.
Yes.
So we will not only get Nova, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to get the entire core.
Yes.
Right.
That's what they're planning, yes.
And after Captain Marvel, I'm afraid it's going to fail.
No. This is the Green Lantern movie we haven't gotten yet from, or I guess not even movie. This is the series. This is the Disney Plus version of the Green Lantern series that Warner Brothers keeps teasing us with, but never actually pulls a trigger on. So yeah, it could be good. We don't know anything. I don't know anything about the pedigree of the script because we haven't seen Moon Knight yet, and it is the same guy who wrote Moon Knight, that series. So We'll know more in a couple of weeks as far as whether or not we should be scared in terms of the quality of the script. But this could be fun. This could be, it opens up the whole. It does what Eternals couldn't do. It could potentially open up the whole celestial side of Marvel.
Hang on. I haven't seen Eternals yet. I haven't seen Eternals just yet.
Porn could do what Eternals couldn't do, okay?
Well, there's a lot that could do what Eternals couldn't do.
So, Tiger, you were looking forward to Nova seeing, the suit, the everything.
I just like his story and his lore because everybody keeps talking about how great and grand Tony Stark is. And I'm trying to tell people, Nova would shit on Tony Stark. This is Nova's life. He watched his whole planet die, and he's on a mission. Tony Stark really can't do anything to Nova. So I'm glad that people's actually getting the full introduction to Nova to see just how grandiose he is, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of respect can be put on Nova's name.
I'll be honest with you. I thought, and this is just me, I thought we were going to get Nova in this phase because he would be integral to what they have planned for this phase. So
Right.
to me, it's weird not having him in this phase. It really doesn't make sense, because the only drawback now, they have to draw back, and unless I'm mistaken, they're gonna have to go back to Captain Marvel to get through this phase if they don't have Nova or Nova's power.
Right. Well, we still got Guardians 3 also, so
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, who knows what they pull out of that? So,
And don't forget what happened in the Wanda Maximoff series.
Yes.
Like, he's going to be involved in all that too.
I am looking forward to that. I still think that they could have done Black Knight better. I don't know why we're getting the Black Knight though, because he doesn't have power. And this next phase requires nothing but heavy hitters.
Mm-hmm.
unless you're leaning into the, you know, because Marvel has shown that they're willing to step out of the superhero only stuff. And maybe, you know, we've got a Blade movie coming. We've got a Black Knight. There's a chance they could be leaning a little more into the horror grounded, you know, we're supposed to be getting some sort of a Werewolf by Night thing in Halloween from Disney Plus. So if they go that route and lean harder into the horror aspect of the Marvel universe, then it could make sense if they do it right, which is always the caveat on all this stuff, is if they do it right.
On the same token, if we took Tiger T's dreads and put them on your head, we could do that. Doesn't think we should.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
Man, you can have them.
And so I'm looking forward to Blade, but I've said this on 3 shows now, brother. Don't screw this up. Wesley only had one real good thing he ever did in his career, and Blade was it.
Right.
Right. So don't screw this up, you know. And then having all of the Defenders on a channel that we can now see them, and if they wanted to remake them, they could do it. They won't, but they could. They probably should just get rid of Iron Fist or replace him. I don't know, but. What do you guys think about that? Now that we've got the Defenders, all the Defenders back, should they do something with it, or should they start it over, which is what they normally would do?
Well, if they're going to do something, you got to start probably with what they've already put Daredevil on screen. They've already put Kingpin on screen. Start there. Make it a more Disney Plus friendly version of that storyline. And yeah, if you're going to do Iron Fist, they've recently introduced a new Iron Fist in the comics, so just go ahead and make a clean break. Louis Tan, who was in one of the seasons of Iron Fist, he was the drunken guy protecting something. He was in Hong Kong or something. Anyhow, he makes a better Iron Fist. I make a better Iron Fist. Hawk makes a better Iron Fist. Everybody on this Zoom meeting makes a better Iron Fist.
And fans, in case you haven't noticed, we did not like Iron Fist or their choices for Iron Fist.
Not at all. If I had to hear him say "I am the immortal Iron Fist" one more time, I think I was going to shoot myself.
Honestly,
if you're the immortal Iron Fist, you don't have to tell anybody you're the immortal Iron Fist. They're going to find out. You don't have to announce it. It's just like telling everybody you're a badass when you're back in school. It's like, oh, I can kick that guy. If you could do it, you didn't have to talk about it. Everybody knew you could do it. And that's the thing with Iron Fist, with the way they did that was, anybody that has to tell you that much that they're the immortal Iron Fist, they ain't the immortal Iron Fist.
That was not the only thing that was wrong with Iron Fist.
No.
Y'all don't listen to Joey. That was not the only thing wrong with it.
No.
But let me ask you this, because Daniel Rand, they did pick. There's no right way of saying this. They picked what they had to play that character. Okay, so a little blonde-haired white boy. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's WrestleMania weekend, let me ask you this: how cool would it have been if they had hired a very young, in his prime, Shawn Michaels? To play the Danny Rand that we thought we were going to get.
I think on screen could have worked. I think that there would have been some off-screen tensions. You've got a young in his prime Shawn Michaels. He's not working on a television series for Disney Plus. He's going to want to be the movie star Iron Fist movie that you're not wanting to make. So,
right. And honestly, I see Shawn Michaels more along the lines of what's that dude from Mortal Kombat? Johnny Cage.
Yeah,
that's why I see a young Shawn Michaels doing is Johnny Cage.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And folks, as you can tell, we're doing a very special Fanatics and the Fan WrestleMania special, and you guys led me into a great topic, something we talked about earlier. WrestleMania is iconic. If you don't know what WrestleMania is, it is the Super Bowl of Super Bowls for professional wrestling. Biggest, most epic event of all time. The pageantry is off the chain, has never not been. But it also has funny moments to make you laugh, moments that make you think, moments that make you feel good. So I asked my panel, what is your best funny moment or feel good moment, or whatever moment makes you just, yeah, man. And I'll go first. So give you guys a think. One of my all-time greatest favorite storylines was when they started bringing in people like Pete Rose and the Chicken and everything else. And not for nothing, for as bad as Pete Rose's life was going at the time, it was great to see that Vince and the people would take care of him and let him be on WrestleMania. So I thought that was kind of amazing. So it was fun to see Kane beat him up. I mean, it's fun to see Kane beat up anybody, but that particular thing was really special to me.
Yeah, I think funny. If you're thinking funny WrestleMania moments, the one that sticks out to me, you can still watch it today and laugh. It was, let me see if I think it was WrestleMania 20, maybe. Don't quote me on that. But it was, the version of Evolution that Triple H was not in because he was off in the main event. But you had Batista, Randy Orton, and Ric Flair taking on The Rock and Mick Foley. And so you had Flair and Rock trying to imitate each other. And so, you've got The Rock strutting around the ring, and you've got Ric Flair trying to drop the people's elbow and getting caught. I think that was just if you're looking for a humor, if you're wanting something funny to watch, that one is one you can go back to and laugh throughout, because they knew exactly what the job was. It was to put on an entertaining show, to get people to laugh, get people to have a good time. And it is a good time match.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. My thing is that most of the funny moments of WrestleMania I really don't like. But if I had to pick one, I would have to say, since we're in Texas, go back to the last time that Mania was in Texas, and I'm pretty sure it was The Rock came out with a pyro and ended up giving the rock bottom to Eric Rowan. That entire segment, I'm sitting up there watching. I'm just like, that's a fucking flame. Can I cuss on here? It's like, that's a fucking flamethrower. I said, what the hell? I'm just like, that was one of my moments that really popped me, especially getting to see it live. So I would definitely go with that one.
Yeah, if you're talking about the feel good moments too, I think, and this goes back a minute, but it would have been WrestleMania. Oh man. 7, maybe? Is it 7? When you had Savage and the Warrior. It was the Warrior's going to quit if he loses, and of course he doesn't lose.
Yeah.
And then Sherry's over there berating Savage afterwards, and Liz comes back, and after having been apart for a couple of years, they reunite and reconnect. And that was, thinking about how old I was at the time, and that way, it's a nice blending of real relationship stuff and what's going on in and out of the ring. So that was one, I think, as far as like, even then it was, not to make myself sound like a softie or whatever, but even then it was like, oh my God, they're back together. I think that's one of those that you can go back and watch, and it's just like, it still gives you a little bit of goosebumps almost, like, oh man, that went really well.
Classic.
Yeah.
It was a classic moment. I feel like you can't even talk about Mania without talking about moments like that from way back in the beginning. But
right.
You mentioned something earlier, and yes, I'm jumping back and forth because I'm really excited, because we're excited about Mania, but we're also excited about other things in our nerd life. And Joey, you know this. I've been excited and wanted a Moon Knight since Marvel became Marvel.
Man, those comics were amazing. I was so excited when they announced that.
Moon Knight, just, oh my God. I'm still, and I've talked about this on the show many times. I'm not going to pull back. The costume sucks. Y'all should do better. And the first iteration, oh my God. The first iteration, just, and I hate to say this, you have a marketing department, okay?
Right.
And their whole job is to help you market stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're going to have to sell this costume.
Have you seen the Wish version that's
For
been out
Halloween.
now?
That's where I'm going with this. That's where I'm going with this.
People ordering their Moon Knight costume
right now.
Yeah, you cannot. You cannot. That's where the whole mummy part came in. That was the second. This is actually the third iteration of the costume that we're going to have on screen. But
right.
Here's my actual question. And Joel, you and I've had this discussion many times over many different shows, but I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going to ask it again. Are they going to screw this up or not?
More than likely.
Honestly, Disney Plus doesn't have a bad track record on the series they put out. Some of them have been higher quality, some of them have been lower quality, but they haven't really shit the bed yet. And I don't think they're going to do that here. I do love, like you were saying, the costume. And you got to understand, we've been in the pandemic this is the third year we've been in a pandemic. The economy's in a bad spot. It's tough for racists as well. That's why they got to dig out the sheets and the hoods and sell that stuff online as a Moon Knight costume, because that's what they're doing. Unfortunately, at least they're getting it out of the closet, I guess. But my God, you gotta, it's Halloween's not going to be kind to us this year, I don't think, or we're going to know who those people are right away, and we can address that situation as it comes up. But yeah.
So on the Joey, I don't know if you saw this, but on the Black History Show, me and Keith talked about this, and I don't know if I mentioned it on air or not, but I did mention it because Peacemaker had just come out, and I said to Keith, "Do you agree that they should not have put them boys in costumes? Because now we're going to go to a convention." And
somebody's going to think it's cool, and
just see Klan members walking out, and we can't say
no.
I think what they should have done is leaned Peacemaker so over the top of the series anyway. If you're going to put those guys in costume, just go ahead and make them look fucking ridiculous, so that people understand immediately we're not condoning this. We're not with this. We're going to make them look as ridiculous as possible, so nobody wants to be one of these guys. I think that's how you should have done that.
And on behalf of Black people everywhere, we're not just mad about the costumes. We're also mad that the dragon had the best costume on the damn show. The most racist bastard on the show, and he got the best costume. I was so mad. The cosplayer in me was pissed off, okay? But let me ask you guys this. Do you miss Mr. Cena? Because he's had some amazing WrestleMania moments.
He has. I was actually thinking about one earlier, and I don't exactly remember which Mania it was, but he's in a mixed tag match. It was him and Bella versus The Miz and Maurice.
Yeah.
And after that match, he ended up proposing. But if you look at the mannerisms throughout that match, for any worker out there that wants to know how to work a crowd, go back and watch that match. The Miz works the hell out of that crowd.
Yes.
And I think they took 5 bumps the entire match. 20 minutes.
Yeah. The Miz. What's funny is I've never liked Michael. Not a fan of Michael. Never have been a fan of Michael.
But, we all got our shortcomings. It's fine.
Yeah, but the Miz. I love me some Miz. The Miz changed my worldview on a lot of different things. I used to didn't even take roles that were villains, and now I want them all. I want them all. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me the hell up. I'm okay with it. But you mentioned tag team, and I'm a tag team guy. You know it. We've talked. We've talked about tag teams forever. The greatest thing that ever happened to wrestling was good tag teams.
Tag team wrestling.
The worst thing that happened to wrestling was bad tag team wrestling. But Mania, at one point in its life, cared enough to give us good tag team championship matches. So I got to ask you guys, what was the best tag team moment that you can think of in Mania history?
Ooh.
I think a lot of people will go to the I think it was the second or third TLC match with the Dudleys and the Hardys and Edge and Christian, where we had Rhino and Spike. But I don't think best one. I think the better one was the Mania match they had. It was the very first. It was just a ladder match between those three, and you didn't have to bring in everybody that ever worked with any of those teams. That's the one that was like the first match that I think had all three of the teams together. And for my money, that's one of the best tag matches. If you want to just watch how tag team wrestling is supposed to look on television, I think that's the one you go to.
Right.
Honestly, it was the first TLC match, and it made
I'm
sense.
talking even pre-TLC. This was just a ladder match, and of course the Deadlies were. So there were tables as well, but it was billed as a ladder match. I think it was. I want to say it was like WrestleMania 2000, that far back.
Yeah.
But the first times I think the three of them got together, which led to all the TLC matches that we got later on. But
what about you, Tiger?
I mean, I think it was Mania 2016 when it was the New Day was hosting Mania that year.
You took my
and then out of nowhere the Hardys come back. I'm like, man, like that whole match, the energy that was in that building for that match, that made it for an easy work day for all the guys involved in that match. Just having that crowd so hot, hearing the Hardy Boys music again after so many years, and with all the smart marks out there, knowing that this came off of that Ring of Honor run, watch the matches they just had with the Young Bucks out in Ring of Honor. That was one of the greatest tag team moments in Mania history.
You can't see me looking at you like I didn't have so as much as
that's why you always go first so you can take your pick.
Right. As much as I'm a tag team guy, and there's always a lot of tag team. So I guess my only other one would be the debut of the Women's Tag Team Championship. Only because it was important.
But it was a botch. It was a botch.
It
From
was
the
creation
of it, it was a botch.
Shut up. We're not going to get into that. But to take away the tag team part of this, the three of us love, there was another tag team match that was equally as important. It was equally as good, but it's a different type of tag team, so I don't really count it. But it was a great WrestleMania moment. Kurt Angle
and Ronda
Rousey. Yeah. Triple H and Stephanie
McMahon.
That was a great match.
That was honestly that was the best thing Ronda did in her entire run.
Yeah.
To me, that was the greatest thing she did her entire run. I'm glad that she's back, but I'm not happy with anything that Ronda's done since that day. Bottom line.
The thing about Ronda is that she's not a professional wrestler. She's a MMA fighter. She doesn't understand what kayfabe is. She doesn't understand that we are positioning you as a baby face. Stop going out there and talking about how you're mad at the crowd. Like, we're trying to get you over. You want to make money. Stop being a bitch to our audience. Like,
right? Yeah.
She just didn't understand.
I feel like she ruined her own career and part of the business. In my personal opinion. Bottom line, that's just how I felt about it. But I will say that if I were to call out a Hall of Fame match for any Mania, that's on my list. Just period.
Yeah.
It was because although I would have replaced Kurt Angle, but it was still great to see him, and he did it.
Yeah,
he held his own. Yeah, he did what he had to do.
I spent that entire match worried about Kurt's health, though. Not gonna lie.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
But it sucks his last match was against King Corbin.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. But that does bring me to this next point that I'm very happy to bring up. Folks, as you guys know, every year the WWE does a Hall of Fame, although this is a light year for them. I don't know why, but it is. But I'm very proud to announce this year, and I'm going to talk we're going to talk about each one of them just a little bit. We're going to start with Queen Sharmell. She didn't have much of a career. I don't believe that she deserves to be on this list.
I mean, I have to fully agree with you. I feel like the only reason that she's on this list is because she lives in Texas, and it's easy for them to put someone in the Hall of Fame in their home state. But
I only remember her doing like a year or two.
Because he did the All Hell King Booker gimmick with Queen Sharmell And then I think, like you said, that was about 18 months. And then she jumped over to TNA with Booker and the, what was it, Main Event Mafia?
Yeah, which was still, to me, the greatest gimmick of all time. The greatest stable to ever be created was the Main Event Mania. Most intelligent thing ever to be done.
I kind of like the Aces and Eights. I understand they was a ripoff of another gimmick, but
I think that the Main Event Mafia was as big a step as the NWO. That's just me.
Yeah, it's just you.
in theory, I understand. But when you put, just because you take a whole bunch of food and throw it into a skillet and put a little bit of seasoning on it, doesn't mean it's going to taste good. And I feel like that's what Main Event Mafia was. Why was Samoa Joe and Booker T and Kurt Angle all together when I'm pretty sure whenever Kurt Angle showed up, Samoa Joe broke his nose?
He did.
So now, but they're best friends, and then the Main Event Mafia logically made no sense. And then you had Scott Steiner come on. What has Scott Steiner ever done besides take steroids in one muscle?
Goddamn steroid.
Can you do that? Can you just take a shot nearby sub and call it good? Don't have to work anything else.
So here's the sad part of that. I was a Steiner fan. Like,
Me too.
from because they were tag teams, and not for nothing. When he debuted the Frankensteiner,
Man,
come on. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they debut the Frankensteiner and the Steiner line in the same match?
I don't recall.
And the other reason why I loved them, the first time I ever saw 4 baby faces in the same match for the same title. Come on. The innovators of, and I didn't even like Lex back then, but and then he disappears and come back looking like the Incredible Hulk on steroids. Just, oh my God. All right, so it wasn't until recently I learned to appreciate all facets of the squared circle. But I could always appreciate talent, regardless of what side of the ring it was on. And to say this next man who is being inducted was the epitome of changing the sport, changing how they look at everybody in it is an understatement. And so I am proud that they're inducting, and I don't know why they have him listed this. I'm gonna list him like how his name was Big Van Vader, damn it.
Yes. Ooh, Vader was amazing. I'm glad he's finally getting inducted. I felt like being inducted when they knew that he was about to die and having amazing matches with Royal Ospreay. I feel like that should have been the year that they inducted him. But if you look at everything that he did, how he transcended the business, being on Boy Meets World, like, he was one of the first wrestlers to acting that was act successful. Then for his size, the things that he did in the ring, a lot of these guys his size now could really go over there and watch his film how to actually work their size.
Oh God, yes. I was thinking the other day, and this is just because I'm crazy. How cool would it have been if Vader had tag team? How cool would it have been if Vader with the Legion of Doom?
Bro.
Yeah.
Remember, Joe? Do you remember when they had the 6-man tag trophy?
Yeah.
In, would anybody have taken it from that team?
You're talking about, yeah.
Maybe.
I think you could have done that without Vader, just with the Legion to do. Just have them handicap every match and still win the trophy.
Honestly,
it was
the only competition might have been the Horsemen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
but you're right. You don't in the ring. You don't get somebody like a Keith Lee without somebody like Vader paving the road and showing that a big guy's more than just size. You can be acrobatic and athletic and do the whole thing. Big guy's more than just size.
Last but not least, and Joe, you're gonna have to explain this to me. You have to make me understand this. I can't even fathom why this is just now happening. for someone who I felt like built the Hall. There wouldn't be a Hall of Fame without this guy. I mean, especially not especially not considering the Hall of Fame announcements at WrestleMania. Greatest WrestleMania career of all time.
Right.
Longest streak.
Mm-hmm.
Although, did he ever win a title
during the streak?
Yeah. I don't remember.
Yes.
He would have had to.
Yeah, he did, I think.
Could you imagine being a title holder going into Mania against
we're giving you the Undertaker. Yeah.
What? Like, I couldn't even do a promo that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, they botched the Undertaker's, I don't even know what you call it, whatever they did at Survivor Series.
So when
it was so bad. It was so bad. So when I feel like I'll just finish. I feel like I kind of feel like this is what is keeping Vince McMahon alive at this point. is he's doing the Undertaker's introduction into the Hall of Fame, and then I think I think like whatever it is they're using to weaken Bernie's him up, keep him propped up and going. Like they'll discontinue that at that point, and like you did it, man. You got the Undertaker in the Hall of Fame. You can go now. It's kind of what it feels like because he has not looked healthy for a while.
So I'm the only one that hasn't noticed that. Thank God.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Taker moment for WrestleMania?
Man, there's so many great matches. I honestly feel like some of his better WrestleMania matches came towards the end when he did Shawn Michaels back-to-back 2 years in a row. And then the next 2 years he had Triple H, and those 4 matches over those 4 years are probably some of the strongest matches of his career, even though he was looking a little slower and but those guys they were smart enough and knew enough about the business to be able to carry him through those matches. And they were some of his best ones, I feel like, at WrestleMania.
I have to say, God, every Taker at one point was all that mattered to Mania to me.
Right.
It was, you had Undertaker and then everybody else. Right. Undertaker and all the other matches,
Yep.
There
were a few years where that's what you had. Yeah, that was the card will somebody beat the streak? And that's the only reason people bought.
How funny is it? And I'm gonna get to Tiger's favorite Undertaker moment in a minute, but how funny is it that the Undertaker that run was not the main event?
Right.
That's that's crazy to me.
There are some wrestlers in the business even now that if they're not in a title match, if they're not chasing a belt, they really can't carry a storyline.
Right.
Taker never needed a belt. Undertaker was the highlight of whatever story they came up with creative. He would have the belts at times, but he didn't need it to be able to be the draw, and I think that is as big a testament to his career as any, is that he could put on these terrific storylines, put on these fantastic matches, run the streak. And like you said, how many times did they actually have to have the belt involved? Not as often as you would think over that course of, the streak. So yeah, he's one of those guys who doesn't need the belt to be a main eventer, regardless of where you slot him on the card.
Yep.
He doesn't have to have a title belt in the picture some of his, some of the matches he had with Kane, it was storyline. It wasn't about a belt. If there was a belt involved, cool. That's because they didn't have a belt to put on somebody else. But there are guys right now wrestling who, if you take the belt away, do they have a compelling storyline? do they even matter to the company at that point? Taker could do no wrong in my opinion. The guy was the leader inside the locker room. He was the leader
outside the locker room.
Everything they did with that company over the past 30 years or so.
Yeah.
It revolved around Taker.
My favorite Taker moment, match, whatever, from his WrestleMania career would have to be Kane. Mm-hmm. First time him and Kane climbed into the ring together and faced off. I truly believe that was the beginning of an amazing a WrestleMania career was right there, because he left it all. He left it all there. And then after that, every time Taker hit that ring for Mania, he left it all there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was,
and the guy, I mean, he started with the gimmick, and then when the business moved away from that, he moved as well. The guy, he reinvented himself multiple times, some with varying degrees of success, but he was always relevant. He always mattered to the average wrestling fan who was tuning in every week.
And in all honesty, WrestleMania was built on Hulk Hogan,
right?
But it lived on The Undertaker.
Well, and Hulk might have been the muscles of the show, but Taker was the heart of the show every time.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And that leads me into what I consider going to be one of our funniest questions. Because for all of those, what was the streak? 22-0, 22-1, 23-1,
something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know where he finished, but yeah, there's the one. Brock Lesnar got the one.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
Yeah, I know.
Who do you believe should have climbed in that ring and squared off against Taker at Mania that hasn't?
I'm gonna say this knowing that, I mean, because of the way you worded the question, I think I can answer it this way. I would like to have seen Taker in the ring with AJ Styles.
Nice.
I think AJ has a lot of Shawn Michaels type qualities in the ring.
Oh, he so does.
And I think that I would have loved to have seen, Taker and AJ in the ring, not doing a horror movie or whatever it was they did.
Right. So what about, and I just lost it. I just lost it. Oh, I know. And the reason why I can say this is because he's never left the company. And what about Abyss?
I was never a big Abyss guy.
I liked Abyss.
Yeah.
But he's never faced The Undertaker, so that could have been a great WrestleMania match.
He always felt like dollar store mankind to me. That's just me personally.
Of course he was.
Right.
That's like Tiger T is a dollar store version of Hawk, but still, we like him.
You got jokes. So
the question, Tiger, was who should have faced off against Taker at Mania that hasn't? Who would you like to have seen?
Oh, that has not faced Taker. Honestly, if we're looking at just gimmicks, Abyss would be one. But can we get some love for the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels? I kind of feel like we could have did a hell of a story between the fallen angel and the Undertaker. I feel like the storytelling that could have been told leading up to that Mania match could have been top notch, bar none.
Miss me some Christopher Daniels. I'm not gonna lie, that would have been a great match. So I want to talk about this year's Mania, guys. Which as I've been bouncing around it because
the card is soft.
It is, especially if you're gonna do 2 nights. If you've decided it's 2 nights.
I want the fans to know this was not the show I planned. Okay? It's not the show I planned, not the show I wanted, but here we go. So I'm going to just bring up a couple of matches, not going to get crazy about it, just a couple of matches.
I think that's all they've announced is just a couple of matches, right?
No, I got the full card.
I know. I'm just saying.
Charlotte and Ronda Rousey.
I don't think that's gonna be a good match. Like they just really don't have chemistry. Charlotte really do got heat against Ronda, at least the last time I heard. Charlotte don't like putting nobody else over, don't like taking face bumps. So when you got someone like Ronda, you kind of gotta let Ronda do her. Because if you look at AEW, you see what they're doing with Ty Conti and how she's mixing in her martial arts with her pro wrestling, but she got people that would actually work with her.
Well, now hang on, because despite what I said earlier about Ronda's WWE career, she had 2 amazing WrestleMania matches. She was one part of the first women's main event at WrestleMania. And let's face it, other than the last 4 seconds of that match, it was an amazing match. You can't dispute that.
Yeah,
You
but
throw the word amazing around a lot.
If you look at Ronda's matches that she had, do I need to remind you of Ronda versus Nia Jax? Like, she needs somebody else in the match that would actually carry her. Charlotte's not that girl. Charlotte's looking out for Charlotte.
I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to dispute it. I just that match was really important. Let's face it. That match was super important. It was a stepping stone to a lot of mistakes that the WWE made afterwards because they lived on it for so long. That pay-per-view that followed it was just the worst idea they could have ever possibly had. I don't even know how badly they could have screwed that up because this was before the pandemic, so they can't even blame that. But
are there any 2 people that have the most legit heat, both in the back and with fan? I mean, does anybody who are you rooting for in this?
And this goes for anybody on here. Me personally, I don't care.
Rooting is a hard word.
Anybody on here. Me personally, I don't care.
Honestly, I mean, you have.
He's on mute, so I will take over. I have appreciated Charlotte Flair's career. I will say that. I've appreciated Charlotte Flair's career, and I've appreciated what Ronda was trying to do when she came to the WWE.
Get paid.
And on that, I'm going to say that the SmackDown women's title is... Although, and Joey, we were talking about this earlier. You're a little salty about the way this went down, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, last year, all you can do is compare to what's come before. And last year we had a women's main event with Sasha and Bianca that not only was it a fantastic match, but everything, the history that built up, not just like their personal history, but the history of the business that led up to that match. And the match itself was fantastic. I know ESPN gave it some sort of award at their ESPYs last year. You have that. That's the bar, right? That's what we're going into WrestleMania this year with. And now we've got Ronda and Charlotte. And then you've got, we saw what happened, how long the WWE stuck with Bianca. And that's, your other women's main event. So, yeah, I mean, there's so much potential of what this could have been if they had set this up better or differently. I think anything different would have been better at this point, but it's where we are. And I don't see a way out of this that's any good for anybody. So if Charlotte retains, what do you do? All right, well, nobody likes her. Who's your next face to face her? They don't have a main event level face on SmackDown right now that's healthy and involved in any kind of program. You put the belt on Ronda, what do? You have the Ronda Charlotte rematch from now till SummerSlam. There's no good way to move forward from this match.
I love the Joey. It's this. I mean, can you even disagree with him, Tiger?
I mean, I think that all that they're going to end up doing is they're going to either bring back Asuka finally, or go right back to Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair.
And joining us, the Masked Man. What is your take on the both of the ladies? Because let's look at all 3 of the ladies' championships. So we've got Ronda and Charlotte. We've got Bianca and Becky, and then the ladies' tag team match is. Oh my God! It's a
cluster
match.
Yeah, it's a lot of shit.
I don't even care. I'm not even gonna get into that. What the hell with it? But
yeah.
Well, hang on. I don't like. Okay, I do.
You gotta
like,
unmute him.
so what's funny is I like Sasha, I like Liv, and I like but the teams that are out there, I could care less. They used to have a great women's tag team division. What the hell happened?
What the hell happened was Sasha ended up crying in a hotel room. That's what happened.
I mean,
This is true.
I mean, go ahead, man. Take over.
All
Yeah,
right,
jump
guys,
in.
how's it going, man? This is the first time I'm doing this. I'm not so tech savvy, but I've been hearing, man, the tag team, the women's tag team division has been abysmal. The tag team, the women's tag team, they brought it. You have two women every single way. The past couple of champions has been just pairing up of random women, barely any chemistry whatsoever. They just give them the titles. Here's something to do for right now. As far as Charlotte and Ronda, I'm sorry, man. I'm not looking forward to that at all. I'm not for Ronda's return. I didn't get a pop, man. I don't know what's going on with the women's division right now. People want to say that it's a strong, but I don't see it. I think AEW is doing a far better job with the women right now. Even Impact is doing a far better job with the women right now.
And I'm going to bring up something. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to bring you made me think of something. I want to bring up something because the next match I wanted to talk about, and then we were going to talk about a few others and then be done. I don't even know if I want to talk about it. I'm sorry, Ray. I love you. But Yosan, I know a lot of independents that can wrestle better than Yosan. That being said, because you are still the face of the luchador that WWE has gotten rid of. So why don't we have the most exciting thing in the business is always been the luchadors. And all we're getting this year, correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, all we're getting this year is the Mysterios. Am I right?
That's all they have. That's all they have, right? They've cut the entire 205 and
so, I mean, again, it's and Tiger, you said it earlier. This is the weakest, Sami Zayn. And first of all, I think Sami Zayn is one of the most talented people in the company.
Or none.
And then there's Johnny Knoxville. That's a waste. Considering you got Kevin Owens doing nothing but getting his butt whooped by Steve Austin.
Oh, are we talking about everybody who's not on the card? Because we can be here the rest of the night on the talent that's not on the card yet.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn facing each other, but that'd still be a better match than Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. I'm
filler,
just saying.
Filler. That's what it is. It's a filler.
It's not. Listen. So is beer, but I'm not going to I'm not going to spend 2 days drinking it. Jesus Christ! Again, we started this show by stating. This is the Super Bowl of professional wrestling, the most epic spectacle of all time. And Tiger, you and I talked about this 2 years ago when this first started. And Joel, you and I talked about it last year when this, we have a bigger love for this event than the event is right now.
Yeah.
But the talent is still there.
I think it's the nostalgia, just the idea of WrestleMania. Like, I get to go, and then you get there, and you're like, it's 6 hours of paying $25 for a cheeseburger.
It's still, the talent is still there. We've already discussed that tonight. You've got AJ Styles, he's on the card. You've got Sami Zayn, he's on the
Edge.
card. You've got Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks. You've got Drew McIntyre. You've got let me scan. The Street Profits. You've got Finn Balor and Damian Priest. You've got, holy crap, I just saw this.
What?
How did y'all not tell me that Cody was back?
I didn't know he was announced for a match yet.
Yeah, he hasn't been announced for a match yet.
Wrong.
Yeah, they're supposed to, that's tomorrow night. Yeah.
No, it's already been announced.
Who is it? Cody and who?
Seth Rollins.
So it is official. Okay.
It's not official. It's a rumor.
Yeah.
But clearly it's gonna happen.
Yeah. That's supposed to be the tomorrow night announcement. Yeah.
Now, mind you,
But way to spoil things, Hawk, for the average fan.
well, by the time this airs, this will already have happened. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about
In that case, you're a Nostradamus.
Here's the thing about me and Cody. I'm glad he had a successful run in the AEW. I have always had big love for that entire family.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen main event skill set out of Cody.
Ooh.
I have not. I'm sorry. I just don't see. He's always going to be the lower end of the A-list for me.
And see, that's why he left and went to AEW, because I feel like in AEW, he proved that he could be that main event talent, even without having the top title. He took the TNT title. He took young kids. Like, I don't care what anybody says. MJF wouldn't be anything if he didn't beat Cody. Sammy Guevara, if he didn't beat Cody, we wouldn't be talking about him. Darby Allin, if he didn't beat Cody, we wouldn't be talking about him. What the internet is mad about is Cody beat Andrade and Cody beat Pac, the former WWE guys. That's what the internet's mad about. But Cody has put over every AEW original that he could put over, including Wardlow in a steel cage.
So let me ask you guys this, and this will be the last two things I ask you. Question one, because I've skipped over, and this shows you how bad this card is, because I've skipped over the Usos and their title championship, the Raw Tag Team Champion. I've skipped over a lot of stuff because no one gives a damn. Who would you put against the Usos as the champions, right? For what you believe would be either their first WrestleMania moment or a good tag team WrestleMania moment. If you're a champion, you should come into WrestleMania and give us a great moment, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Usos versus the Street Profits would put on an amazing show.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I love watching them go against the New Day. I can watch them go against the New Day any time of the week, but I've seen it like maybe 6-7 times.
I'm a little sick of it.
Yeah.
I need something new. And I think elevating the Street Profits against a great heel team, the Usos would definitely raise their stock up because they need it.
Yeah, I don't consider the Usos as a great heel, though, either.
Yeah, they're really not. I would think more along the lines, and just because of the level of promo work that's been showed lately, I feel like Otis and Chad Gable should get that WrestleMania moment just for the shit. They made him Shorty G, and now he came all the way up to fulfill his prophecy. Go ahead and put a title on him.
Yeah. Otis is going to carry this company for a little bit if he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Joey?
Well, it goes back to what you're saying. There's not a lot of strong tag teams right now. I mean, if you look at legit tag teams to put against the Usos, it's the New Day. And that's, like you said, that's what, the 12th or 13th time we've seen that. If you just count pay-per-views, it's maybe only the 6th or 7th. If you count all the SmackDowns we've had to sit through, it's probably getting 24 or so. Or it's the Street Profits, and that's really the only tag teams they have. You know, RK Bro's not a tag team. That's trying to get a young guy to learn from Randy. You know,
what about the War Raiders?
The War Raiders is good. Can I just say something though? I don't even understand RK Bro. Not even.
Yeah. Well,
as someone who's climbed in the ring, I am confused every time I see those two climb in the ring.
that is nothing more than trying to take a young guy and put some seasoning on him and eventually have those two face off and hope that it's not a train wreck.
I really believe that's
all that is.
Randy's talent personally. That's just me.
Yeah.
Now, my next question, and it's the last one, and it's the
question. Randy, you got to remember though, Randy's like 40 something now. He may not want to be a full-time, like taking all the bumps, and he may be happy being a tag teamer at this point in his career.
Hey,
and I know that Randy's a stoner too. So
hey, Joey, I promise you that 40-year-old Randy Orton can whoop your ass.
I don't know. We put this belt on the line, by God. No.
Hey, Tiger, I know what you're laughing at. You ain't too close behind to me, though. Okay, I know he can take you.
Hey, hold on. We ain't talking about my age here. You have to forget, I'm 22 till the day I die.
All right, so I'm not going to talk about the main event for day 2 because I don't care. I'm not even going to say those names. I'm sick of this entire story. So I'm going to ask my panel, what would be your, and this is go back as far as you want to go. I don't even care. What would be the greatest WrestleMania main event that you would put into this WrestleMania right now?
So you're taking pull any of the 37 previous WrestleMania main events and plug one in here.
You could put Pete Rose in it. I don't care.
Pete Rose versus Johnny Knoxville in a street fight.
I don't care. I don't care. I am over Brock Lesnar, and I am over whatever they've tried to do with Roman. Not for nothing, they should have never broke up the freaking Shield. That was the best thing to happen to Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins.
All that said, yeah, anything you want to pick.
All
that said, I would just throw in there before you move on from that match that you don't give a shit about, and I don't disagree with that. Is there anybody better than Paul Heyman right now with a microphone in their hand?
There's never been anybody better than Paul Heyman.
Jimmy
Cornette is the only person on the same level as Paul Heyman at his prime, which is now apparently. He's gotten
apparently the last 6 months has been Paul Heyman's prime. Yeah,
he's gotten. I mean, and this is for people who are in the business. Paul Heyman is terrible. So is Jimmy Cornette and a few others. Fritz Von Erich, heaven help us. He was terrible. But I mean, and the man took out a loan from who in the hell takes out a loan from Vince McMahon?
Your competitor, from your biggest competitors.
So when he and not for nothing, but I admired for like 6 months. I admired Vince because he got this WCW and he called his loan in the same week. I'm like, damn, this man is the White Shaft. Okay. So but Paul Heyman is great. You're right. But anyway, back to the question. Could you imagine
the Burger King running up to Ronald McDonald being like, dude, can you float me like just enough to keep me alive? Just enough to get through the weekend. I got you back. We're selling Whoppers like crazy. I'll get you back. I promise. Because that's what it was, right? It wasn't even the Burger King. It was like the Wendy's gal, like the little girl with the pigtails.
Oh my God, you're not wrong.
Running up to Ronald, being like, "Hey, clown."
Hold on. It was Whataburger going up to McDonald's.
Ronald McDonald gets the Jack in the Box, cranks it open. I'm like, hey man, can you float me enough to get me through the weekend? I got to pay my workers.
Okay, and just for the record, a lot of us know a lot of great wrestling stories. To me, that is one of the greatest stories of all time. Because the first time I heard it, I was like, wait a minute. It's one of those stories, you guys. Can you re-explain that to me? Because I heard what you said, but I don't believe what you said. Paul Heyman borrowed money. And then for a second, I was like, what's wrong with Vince? And I realized, oh my God, that's genius.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's make a WrestleMania moment, fellas. Let's start with the new guy. What be your all-time? What match would you replace Roman and Brock with right now for this WrestleMania?
Man, you said a WrestleMania match from the past. This has to be Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker for their first encounter.
It doesn't even matter which one. It doesn't even matter which one. It doesn't even any of them.
I'm so glad to say that I was there live. It captivated me and mesmerized me. That is my all-time favorite WrestleMania match ever.
You are not okay. Wrong, my friend. Tiger.
I'm instead of doing one from the past, I'm going to create a new one. I really like wrestling in my wrestling matches. So my main event, I would do Cesaro versus Mustafa Ali in the main event and just show the entire world exactly what the Swiss Superman and Mustafa Ali can actually do.
Ooh, you are not.
That'd be great.
That's nasty. Woo, goodness. Goodness. Joey Mills.
So, wrestling is as hot as it's ever been, and wrestling is as stale as it's ever been. And it's weird to say both of those things How can both of those be true, but they are? But here's what I would do with WrestleMania. I would shake the shit out of it. I would shake it up. I would have and this would require way more than work than anybody's willing to put into it, and a lot more ego swallowing than anybody's willing to put into it. But make WrestleMania, if you're going to do 2 nights, to hell with it. Make it a week. And one night it is AEW, and one night it is Impact, and one night it's TNA, one night it's GCW, and give everybody a chance to shine. Let everybody pull in a little bit, let everybody pull out of it a little bit. And that's where I would have a quote unquote rogue Bullet Club reform and show up on everybody's shows. And who are they going to bring back in? Are they going to get AJ? Are they going to get Finn Balor? Let's find out. Oh, no, they kicked the shit out of AJ. They don't want him. Now they're showing up on this show. Are they going to get the Young Bucks back? And just, recreate the best you can an NWO type of storyline with an actual faction that is, number one, already over. You don't have to sell it. You don't have to create anything. Everybody's got a Bullet Club shirt. And let them run wild across all of the brands, and you never know who's going to show up where. You could have this guys showing up on the same night. They could show up on 2 different shows or whatever. So that's what I would do. I would bring back that level of what's going to happen next, because right now when I turn on Mania, I kind of know what's going to happen. Even without the outcome, I know what's going to happen next.
So that was actually some of the funnest things we've ever done, Joe. Mm-hmm. I've had more fun doing that with you than anything else.
Yeah, I just give us something exciting and new, and make us wonder again who's next. Not in the Goldberg sense of who's next, but an NWO sense of like, who are they going to get next? And if your Bullet Club is 50 members like the NWO was at one point, that's fine, because you got these guys that are really just focusing on New Japan, and you got these guys that are really just showing up in whatever Ring of Honor becomes, and you got these guys really just showing up on Impact. And yeah, there's going to be some crossover here and there, especially around pay-per-views and big events, but everybody put a little in the pot, everybody pull out of it what you have to pull out of it, and give us something new and dynamic. You're already working with other companies to a small extent. When Mickey James showed up with the belt in the Royal Rumble, it's like, oh, finally somebody's paying attention to what's going on. Oh my God. It's like, yeah, do that. Show up. If WrestleMania is the Super Bowl, then bring everybody's champions and do one big ass champions versus champions tournament, and make that the first night of WrestleMania with the championship on the second night or whatever. Do something different, because there is so much good wrestling right now that one company who's kind of the benchmark shouldn't be struggling this badly to put out a watchable event.
Now, you said that. Before I give you guys my answer, let's talk about what our players are doing. Tiger, where are you going to be at next, and who you're going to be facing?
I'm going to be at League of Lions, April 9th. I'm facing my former tag team partner, Rob Exotic, currently going by the Smooth Criminal Rob Boris. I tell you what, after the events of this past weekend, as soon as I get my hands on him, it will be a bloodbath like no other. I hope that Carol Baskins takes really good care of him. He's going to need him.
And our mysterious masked man that showed up late, where are you going to be at next?
Man, I'm hoping I got one show coming up this week. GWF. I'm sorry. I get the names confused. And I got some dates coming up in Kansas for American Wrestling Revolution. Still starting out, trying to network a little bit more. Hopefully in the future, you'll see more of me. But that's all I got for right now.
Awesome. And then, of course, you'll be able to see myself and Joey Mills coming up real soon. You'll see Joey at Planet Comic Con because he's a sellout, but you'll see me at Vision Con. And here is my WrestleMania match. And you guys know I'm an old school lover of the sport. I've climbed in the ring against at least one of the people on this screen. I'm not going to tell you guys who, but he didn't win. But he will agree with what I'm about to say. To me, one of the greatest matches ever made was War Games, The Match Beyond.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
So I would take the 4 people you see on your screen right now, plus John Cena, and put them up against any 4 members of the NWO and have a War Games match at WrestleMania as the main event. And of course, Joey Mills would go in for that first 5 minutes.
I will take a pin and
because we need to work on Joey's cardio anyway.
There you go. Where are they selling the funnel cakes at? I'm gonna head up there as soon as you pin me. Let's get this over with. I submit. You don't have to pin me. I'll submit.
So that was the
I'll
best
be at the hot dog
part
cart.
of the War Games match. The first guy, whoever he was, which a lot of times was crazy.
Yeah.
Because that match, Tiger, correct me if I'm wrong. That match was minimum. You couldn't be any less than 35 minutes, right?
Right, because it was longer. I think it was about 35 minutes because each person had their own individual entrance. And then I think it was 5-6 minutes intervals. Each person came in, rotating back and forth, and then you could actually do the pinfalls and submissions and stuff that way.
That was the it was the greatest invention ever made. Most dangerous match, to me, one of the most dangerous matches ever created, or had the potential to be. But the cardio for guy number 1, my God.
Yeah. Man, you saw them guys was all muscle back in the day, so there was a lot of leaning on those ropes.
I know that. If I remember correctly, Sting hasn't never done. Sting did a number 1. Dustin did a number 1. I want to say that Tully Blanchard did a number 1, if I'm not mistaken. It was either Tully or Arn, one or the other.
I think Elegante did a number 1 too.
Yeah, just you kidding me? Because they didn't. Dusty did a number 1, if I'm not mistaken. No, that can't be right.
I don't run into this. I'm gonna stand right here.
That don't sound right.
You just keep coming. Keep coming.
That don't sound right. But I know he was in at least 3 of them.
Yeah, he was in them. He didn't open them.
Yeah, but no, that doesn't sound right. Folks, this has been a very special WrestleMania moment for Fanatics and the Fan. I am so happy to have my guests here. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We should do this more often. We should.
You should.
WrestleMania and SummerSlam or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Be sure and check us out. We've got Vision Con moments coming up here real soon in the very, very near future. We're going to talk to the actual folks from a Vision Con, the new leader. We still have one Brandon left, and he's going to be on our show right here at Fanatics and the Fan.